the anti-tracker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
Like an idiot, I pulled a complete bird of prey. Holy crap. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I know. Now I gotta wait for the delay while everybody's putting sound into the chat. I am so sorry, guys. So let's start all that over again. What I was starting to say is, first of all, welcome everybody, especially to those that I was arguing with, up to and including Bird of Prey on his recent stream. Had a great time fighting over the whole Columbus Day thing, and obviously no hard feelings towards anybody involved in said arguments. I had a great time, and it helped distract me a little bit from the lake. So there is that. Thomas was first, Resolute second, Jason third, Multi-Gunman says, hey, Checker, how's it going? Hanging in there, my friend. Iron Wolf is here. Bird of Prey says, Kapla. Azine says, hello. Renegade says, good morning, how's the knee? Well, it's right here. The swelling has actually gone down a little bit, which is a good sign. However, and what I'm really concerned with, I was talking to my physical therapist about it this morning, I have zero muscle control over my front quadriceps, and I can't remember the name of the muscle in the lower leg. So, like, I can't lift my leg at all. There's like nothing there, and so that kind of makes me nervous. But physical therapist working with the doctor, and well, hopefully they'll have some reason for all this. Anyway, so that's the status of the knee as of right now. Thomas wants number 11, so we shall not delay. Hey, guys. Ah, yes, a true classic. Bear with me, I know the screen isn't updated. It's because I was trying to plug my phone into the charger. My phone only has 7% left on it, so just barely made it. All right, so then there's all the comments about how I screwed up on the sound. Sorry about that, my friends. Okay, YouTube Super Chats block slavery. Yes. So here's the thing. As far as, I'll give you the bottom line as far as what I was trying to get across in Bird of Prey's chat on the Columbus Day thing, and then we'll lay that to rest, is more or less the problem is that when you start talking about you're better off because X happened, right? No, you can't say that. That's not an accurate statement. The only thing that you can say is you are in the position you are right now because X happened. Because history unfolded exactly the way it actually has is the reason that every one of us is in the exact position, mindset, etc. that we are in right now. Now, if you went back and changed a particular event in history, be it Columbus or anything else, that could improve circumstances. It could degrade circumstances. You could cease to exist. You could exist in a much better way. We don't know. There is absolutely zero basis for saying that something was a benefit or a detriment because we don't know ever what the alternative is. We don't know alternate history. The only way you can know alternate history is if you are in fact an omniscient being. In other words, if you are God. That is the only way you could possibly know whether or not the world, or by extension any particular individual, would be better off or worse off based on Columbus's discovery of the New World and all that crap. So that's all I was trying to say, is to categorically, and I was picking on Bird a little bit, but I like to pick on Bird, but to categorically say you are better off because of these historical events is simply not a reasonable assumption, because you don't know what the alternative would be. Darth Raven says, Antrager, greetings from the Republic of Atlantis, far beneath what you ancient humans call Ireland. We sank after the Great World Riot after BirdOPrey made a statement. Very nice. Nice Celtic knot shirt showing your Celtic pride. Thank you, Darth. I do have a lot of Celtic pride, in fact, and so thank you. And in fact, my very first tattoo, I can't show it to you because I'd have to take my shirt off, and I'm not going to do that, but my very first tattoo that I ever got is a Celtic knot. Vile Mike says, have you watched the new TOS review? Not yet, Vile. I'm truly sorry. I've not gotten to it yet. I spent, today I was in physical therapy this morning, and then, and I'll be honest with you, I slept through most of the day after that. And the reason I slept through the day was not that physical therapy was any rougher than normal, but because of little Miss Anti-Trekker, Ebony. Her and her boyfriend went to a big music festival yesterday, and which is about... roughly an hour's drive from where I'm at right now. And they went to this festival and they took Uber, and they were going to take Uber back. But the problem is that Turd Boyfriend's phone died, and little Miss Anti-Trekker's phone was down to like 5% power. So it didn't have enough power for her to get an Uber out to her. If she had her phone on that long, it would have died. So she had no way to get home. I basically ended up, because I can't drive, Mrs. Anti-Trekker, who was feeling a little under the weather, took some NyQuil, so she was in no shape to drive. So I ended up taking an Uber from my house out to the festival to get them and then back. And so I am freaking exhausted from that. Now, it sucked, but I was very glad that I was able to help her out like that. You know, so... Anyway, Thomas says, we're better off that your channel happened. Sure, I would save $1.99 a day, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Well, thank you, Thomas. Thank you. The bigger change and the further back is the better the change someone today would, the better chance, I assume you mean the chance someone today would cease to exist. But it's not simply about existence or not, Bird, because you don't know that. For example, and this is, you know, kind of the whole thing about human existence. Are you simply... you know, from a naturalistic perspective, are you nothing more than a random blending of the genetic material of your particular parents? Is that who you are? Or is there something more? Is there something supernatural? Are you a soul? Is there more to life than simple genetics? And so I couldn't even say with absolute certainty that you would cease to exist just because things worked out differently. You know, maybe your name would not be Joe. Maybe your mom would not be Mom-O-Prey. Maybe your dad would not be Dad-O-Prey. However, would the id, the individual, the essence of who you are, still exist? I don't know the answer to that, and that's a much deeper question. I think, quite frankly, a more interesting question. Says, who's crazier, BirdOPrey or Ketwolski? I'm going to go with Herman Schmeckelbeck. Well, Herman Schmeckelbeck isn't crazy. He's just evil. Want of a nail, sound of thunder, etc. Yes. Bird tried to get you the bird eye. Well, he does that a lot. All right. So, and Ketwolski. Now, let's talk about Ketwolski for a minute. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute. I apologize for, I know I'm already a little behind, and I'm going to get way behind in a minute here because I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade here about Mr. Ketwolski. Now, I didn't know anything about any of this until BirdOPrey's stream, where a few people mentioned that Lore Reloaded was playing Ketwolski's video from today, and that there was some talk about Ketwolski's video, and some people were convinced now that the whole Justice for Anas thing was a complete sham, and all this based on Ketwolski's video. So, what did I do? I did what any reasonable person would do. I watched Ketwolski's video. This is it right here. The Star Trek Tardigrade lawsuit, The Truth, and What is Theft? Now, he's obviously... Ketwolski is what he does, and he does it pretty darn good in this video, is he purposefully falls just short of accusing Anas of anything, or accusing Nerdrotic of anything, or accusing any of the supporters of Anas of anything. He just very strongly implies a lot of stuff, basically suggesting that this is all about money, that this is about getting views on YouTube channels like Nerdrotic or other channels that have been supportive of Anas. It's about Anas getting money from CBS, all this stuff. And fine, you want to believe that, that's perfectly fine. Here's where I'm going to call complete and utter BS, and therefore I'm going to completely and utterly disregard this video 100%. And I will tell you why. I wish I had it queued up to the right moment. But here's the basic gist of Ketwolski's argument, especially, and the reason that it says what is theft in the video, is that he is saying that Anas produced a video on his YouTube channel, which was basically a video of what if Dexter, as in the Showtime series Dexter about the serial killer who works for the Florida police, what if it was like an 8-bit game? And so it plays the Dexter music and a simple piano, and you see a little 8-bit version of Dexter getting out of bed and doing his morning routine, the typical morning credits from Dexter, if you've ever seen the show. And he says that is theft of the song because he doesn't credit the original YouTuber who played that piano tune of the song from Dexter. And therefore, because of all this, Anas is a complete and utter hypocrite because he is attacking CBS for stealing his material when he stole CBS's material first. All right? And by the way, Gregory Allen Burho just subscribed to the channel. So Gregory, welcome if you're here. And if you're not here, well, okay, nice. But here's the bottom line. So Ketwolski was pointing out the hypocrisy, and that in and of itself shows that Anas is basically fraudulent in all this. And so fine, that's your position. All right. That is now the official standard. So let me now go to the very end of Ketwolski's video. Why? You'll see in just a moment.
Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.
All right, so that's how I think that live long and prosper, my Trekkie, that was just stupid. I'm sorry. That tells me right there why he does things like defend Star Trek Discovery. He does not give any real respect to Trek if this is what he thinks is live long and prosper, right? But that aside, what did we hear just now? Well, we heard a kind of a jazzed up version of the Star Trek The Next Generation theme song, which of course was an adaptation of Star Trek The Motion Picture. And guess what? Look at the screenshot right here. He does not give credit to the artist that created that song anywhere in this list. I looked for it. All right. He has credit to the chick that played the Dexter theme on the piano here, but not the Star Trek theme song. So Ketwolski, in the very video that he is accusing Anas of stealing music from because he used music without crediting, uses music without crediting. So you, sir, are a hypocrite to the absolute max degree. So therefore, based on that alone, I am dismissing the video out of hand because his standard, his own standard for what creates theft applied to his video shows that he is in fact stealing. And so, sorry, Ketwolski, game, set, match. And so if you know, I'm sorry, I'm done with that crap. And of course, then I had the unfortunate pleasure of then watching, because it just popped up in the suggested videos, and I was like, oh God, let's see. And he was defending Spock singing and laughing, and he was defending the Tribble retcon and all that, and trying to say, it's not really a retcon, they just added layers. You have not watched Star Trek if you really believe that, Ketwolski. If you genuinely could watch The Trouble with Edward and think that there's no retcon to the history of Trek in that, you are either an idiot or you have simply never watched Trek. I don't know which it is. I'll let you choose. So the answer to the question of this live stream, who is crazier, BirdOPrey5 or Ketwolski, the answer is Ketwolski. And I'm sorry, Ketwolski, I don't generally go after people like this, but that pisses me off when you are going to literally throw... You're sitting there trying to say that this lawsuit is basically frivolous, even though you previously supported it. But you think it's frivolous at this point, and it's just a bunch of alt-righters trying to get money out of CBS. And you do the same damn thing you accuse them of doing. So, I'm sorry, zero respect for that. Now, I don't know what Lore Reloaded's position was on it. I didn't watch Lore Reloaded's stream. I don't know if, and I know Lore and Ketwolski are friends. That's fine. And this is not meant to be, don't see this as an attack on Ketwolski personally. However, as far as the argumentation he makes in this video, I think he shoots himself in the freaking foot. All right, so now back to the chat. I'm done with my tirade until I get to your comments on it. And you probably say, geez, Anti-Trekker, calm down. Darth Maul says, we are living in an alternate reality where Kurtzman runs Star Trek and Disney Star Wars exists. Unfortunately, that's not the alternate reality, Darth. That is where we are. I guess, well, yeah, I guess you could say, well, every reality is an alternate reality then. Yeah. And just so you guys know, because I kind of, speaking of shooting yourself in the foot, kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit here by just going on my tirade. So I'm just going to stick with the chats that are addressed directly to me. So please put @Anti-Trekker on it if you want me to read it. I will try to get to them all. Daniel says, it's an interesting idea. If history did not happen the way it did, we would not exist. We are dependent on it. That's assuming a naturalistic view of the universe. Yes. But if you do take a supernaturalistic view of the universe, then you could argue that the individuals, the souls, as you were, could still exist. They would just exist in different form. Stuart says, enter, hope all of you are having a better day with the new implant. Well, it's been a rough week, Stuart, but I'm actually able to put a little more pressure on the leg before it goes crazy with the pain. The resting pain is still really bad, and that's what's driving me crazy. But the putting weight on it has gotten a little easier. So there is good news in all this. Vile says, I forgive you, Trigger. I mean, you are injured and healing. I did get one big shot YouTuber not only to watch it but to join us at the premiere. Awesome! That's awesome. Good luck. And you know what? That can be very helpful. Andrew, you're just a drama story 24/7. I tell you, I hate that, and that's why I didn't want to talk about my leg too much, but yeah, I know it sucks. If my country had unified and fought off the British, then the potato famine never happened. I would not be able to talk to you since I would be speaking Gaelic, and so would you. Well, then we could be talking. We would just be talking on a Gaelic YouTube channel, or whatever YouTube is called in that alternate reality. Have you watched Egotastic Fun Times video on the reports of the Picard series? If so, what are your thoughts? I'm not going to lie. For me, it kind of sounds potentially interesting, maybe. I have not seen Egotastic's video on it, and so I'd be curious to check it out. As far as Picard, I'm going to take it as it comes, right? So when it premieres, I'm going to watch it with an open mind. I'm going to hope it's good, but I don't have any faith in Kurtzman, so I'm not going in with elevated expectations. BirdOPrey, well, and there goes my chat going crazy, says, you know, you could have sent the Uber from your phone. You don't have to be at the location to call an Uber. I do Ubers for Mama Prey to get home from time to time. Actually, and maybe it varies from state to state. I couldn't find an option to do that, and I actually called the Uber driver, and he said, no, you have to be in the vehicle. So maybe it's a rule for Tennessee that's not New York. I don't know. Daniel says, for example, imagine if Adam and Eve never ate the forbidden tree of knowledge, then there'd be no great flood, no Roman Empire. Today worlds would not exist. We would not. Well, that's the interesting question. So, like, if you take the book of Genesis literally, and Adam and Eve did not bite from the tree of knowledge, then we would also, though, you would argue that the world would be a much better place because it would still be a paradise world. we would not be living in a fallen world. And now, but then you get into individual existence, and that's where I think is the interesting question. If there is such a thing as a soul, and if there's a divine being, God, that creates these souls or does something with these souls that knits you together, as the Bible says, then would you still exist even in this alternate universe? And I would dare say, yeah, you probably would. Buy the girl a boost battery anti-tracker. It saved me more than once. Yeah, the problem, and here's where I got mad at Little Miss Anti-Tracker a little bit, is that throughout the day she kept sending Mrs. Anti-Tracker little videos of her and her friends at the festival, and it's like, how about you stop recording videos of yourself just saying hi and sending it to people and enjoy the show so that you have some battery life in your phone when the show's over. Anyway. We could all be ones and zeros. We don't know. That is actually true. Today, ranting of the day is a ranting day. Go for it, Anti-Trigger. Thank you, Kronos. I hope you enjoyed my little rant. Darth Rain says, in the last Airbender, the Avatar is reincarnated and remembers little of their past lives, but each Avatar is created from the last Avatar's experiences. An uptight Avatar becomes a carefree Avatar, and a careless Avatar becomes a brutal military Avatar. Interesting. I did not know that. Resolute says he's a dickhead without any actual evidence. That's all you really need to know. Well, I assume you said that before I went on my rant, so tell me, Resolute, what you thought, if you haven't already, of my assessment. Thomas says, does the idiot know GoFundMe would shut down anything fake? Well, he's not denying the existence of the lawsuit, but he's just saying that it's just a ploy for us alt-writers, because, of course, anybody that doesn't like Star Trek Discovery is an alt-writer. Must be just conspiring to get money because we're greedy or something. Mr. Cat says, what's with the green screen? Well, the green screen has always been there. It's just usually you see my fish tank projected behind it, but my fish tank, the lights are broken, and I can't fix it right now until my leg is a little better. So I just turned off the green screen for right now. And let's see, entry. Did you see Laura's been walking in the woods shooting videos? I did not see that, but good for him, I guess. Stuart says, Star Wars dead, Star Trek about to be killed off, but one show that we want to come back on TV is Babylon 5. Well, Babylon 5 could survive a reboot. I could see something like that, but how about we just focus on the good out there? I mean, we have The Expanse, we have the Orville, so sci-fi is not dead. But, yeah. And let's see. So the Borg implants are less painful today, slightly. Vile says the big shot was BirdOPrey5. Well, okay, so big physically, and you didn't mean big like a big channel. Gotcha. Dr. Daystrom. I don't think I've seen you here before, Dr. Daystrom, so if you are newer, welcome. Tribbles, pre-TOS, bridge windows, different TOS area uniforms, different Enterprise Holotech, all hallmarks of JJ check, but hey, it's Prime. Yeah. Of course it is. Bradley says, finally got that arrowhead removed from his knee. Now he can retire from being a town guard. He'll be out there slaying dragons again before we know it. Oh, yeah, because I'm a hobbit, right? Yeah. Jay says, hashtag PooTube, your avatar all over their logo with the text 0.5% royalty on all sales of that, please. All right, you got it. You have to remind me, Jason, once I'm big enough and I'm selling PooTube shirts and stuff that you came up with the idea. There's a Black Library offer. The Black Library offer if using pronouns of non-sex, e.g. male and female, in one of his latest books, where he made the Warhammer continuity community go nuts. A Black Library offer if it's using pronouns of non-sex. Stuart, I'm not 100% sure I understand what you're saying there. Darth Rain says, I'm going to a Picard watch party for my friends so they don't have to pay CBS. Well, that's good. Yeah, when January, I think it's January rolls around and Picard comes out, I don't know what my work schedule is going to be at that point, but hopefully that night I'll be able to do a live stream. Oh, great. Now your fish can't see. Do you have any good news? Yeah. According to BirdOPrey, you're better off because of Columbus. Dr. Daystrom says, yes, I am new. I am great. You are great. Very good. Quoting Dr. Daystrom in that response. Yes, yes, I am great. You are great. Your mighty starships. What was it? Was it 4 toys to be crushed as we choose? Man, I love the way he hammed it up in that. Jason Lee says, switch to live chat. Yes, absolutely. I actually did switch to live chat. I remembered today. It happens every once in a while. Darth Maul says, I hope that Nerdrotic and Doomcock have carefully done their homework on Anas before supporting him. It would be horrible if their reputations were destroyed because of this. Well, here's the thing, Darth. Yeah, Nerdrotic in particular was very big on getting the support Anas thing going. And I've looked at all the evidence, and while I do think that it's a difficult lawsuit, and I said from the very beginning that I didn't think that he was going to win the lawsuit. However, I still fully support Anas, and I encourage people to support the GoFundMe if they can, because we need to send a message to CBS that we will not continuously just be bullied, all right? And, you know, sure, Ketwolski is, you know, his channel is growing faster than mine. He was a lot smaller than mine, you know, last year. Now his channel is significantly bigger than mine. Now, is that because more people agree with him? More people actually think that Discovery is awesome and that, you know, everybody that doesn't like it is an alt-right crazy? Or is it because YouTube and CBS and others try to actively support these types of channels by suggesting them in recommended videos and stuff like that? I would argue the latter, to be honest with you. If CBS is in fact making money hand over fist off of Discovery, if Discovery is half of the success that they say it is, then show us the numbers. Show us the numbers, CBS, so we can see it. Bradley says, you seem to be in better spirits today. I'm glad to see it. Hopefully that means you're feeling a lot better. Well, feeling a lot better would be an overstatement, but I am feeling optimistic in that, like I said, I can put a little more weight on the knee before I collapse. I still have some serious concerns about it, but at least it seems to be improving. Valor says, you can normally tell SJW Trekkies from actual Trekkies. That idiot just proved it. Yeah. Mr. Miles is in the house, says Cree, and then first for the second time. Congratulations, Mr. Miles, on being first twice. Darth Aaron says, found an old computer show. Can I link you when you're chilling from the 80s, 2000s Computer Chronicles? That sounds vaguely familiar. But yeah, you can send it to me in Discord. I'll check it out. Says Egotastic's video says he heard or read that while Picard's series does have the Borg and Romulan refugees, the story allegedly turns to Measure of a Man for a portion of the plot. Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised by that, because when you see that room full of what looks like copies basically of data, you know, the F8 one, which I think is interesting, Fate. And so, I kind of figured that maybe they're using the board technology and enhancements learned to try and create a race of robots, and we could get into the whole Measure of a Man, and you know, then maybe we're going to get into holographic rights, and yeah, in which case it's probably going to suck. Wesley says, greetings, nerds, birds, and turds. Hey, Wesley, good to see you. Renegade says, CBS has more money and bigger legal team. They can drag it on and win by default. Well, that's why I support Anas. I want Anas to win this. I want us to show CBS that we will not be bullied, that we are done with that crap, that we, the nerd community, can stand up and say enough is enough. Darth Revan says, but I could bully you. That's still okay, right, you freaking hobbit? Of course, Darth Revan. You can still call me a freaking hobbit, I guess. And Dr. Daystrom says, no matter the results of the suit, you can bet your ass CBS was not prepared for the amount of support that Anas is still getting. I agree. I think the CBS is probably nervous about that. And I think they should be. Because if it says anything, it says that the community is probably not going to warm up to them having freaking Spock singing songs and retconning every freaking episode. So maybe CBS needs to change their game plan just a little bit. Ms. Morrow says, still watching SG1. I didn't watch any today because I spent most of the day in bed, but yes. Let's see. Star Trek Ketwolski's logo on a shirt reminds me of Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. Yeah, it kind of does. Stuart says, yes, sorry is a bit confusing with the book and non-pronouns in a book discussing character male and female and harder to put into words. I understand, Stuart, but that's cool. Wesley says, where do we go to help that GoFundMe? Let me see. I actually have it right here, and I will put it in the chat. And so this is the official GoFundMe for Justice for Anas. It's currently at $17,381. So, so yes, it's doing quite well, actually. Let's see. Well, if you're feeling better, then that's a positive. I agree. Ketwolski bought off or afraid to punch up and hold CBS feet to the fire. Laura says neither, but Anas has no basis for. But that Anas has no basis for a suit. I don't know what Laura's opinion on Ketwolski was as far as all that's concerned. However, people that are saying Anas has no basis for a suit are not looking at the evidence. And, you know, I think that, like, basically what Ketwolski tries to do is put reasonable doubt into play, right? To suggest that for example, by saying that these two were not necessarily a gay couple in the original concept of the game, but they were shown as being similar to Stamets and Culver, and therefore he's kind of, you know, milking it or pushing it a bit. Okay, fine. You're trying to establish reasonable doubt there. So you obviously don't understand what a civil suit is, because there's no such thing as reasonable doubt in a civil suit. It's a preponderance of evidence. The question becomes, is it more likely that CBS borrowed information from Anas or didn't? It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. So, yes, you can have reasonable doubts, but is it more likely that CBS stole this information or simply happened to come up with all this stuff independently? Mr. Cap says wrench miles. I can't reach the wrench button. F8 and behind that Android is FRT. I didn't see that, but if that's true, that's hilarious. Darth Red says, hey, Trigger, how are you doing in yourself? Well, I'm not in my... Well, I guess I am kind of in myself, but I'm hanging in there, Darth. Can a mod link the GoFundMe? I already put it in the chat, Resolute. Why does the Fed need a race of robot slaves when they already have holo slaves? Good question. And I guess we'll find out. Do you believe, this is from Darth Maul, that CBS has a concept of how many times TNG has been viewed multiple times by individuals over the world and how much it will blow up in their face if Picard is a mess? No, I don't think they do. I think that I genuinely believe at this point that the executives at CBS think that the audience of their network are so stupid that they're just going to lap it up because it's Picard. That it doesn't matter how much of a mess it is, because Picard is an iconic character, and therefore everybody's going to come show up for it. Just like Kathleen Kennedy thought everybody was going to do that, you know, for Star Wars forever and ever, no matter what they did to Luke. Let's see. I had no idea other people do not just jerk as a way to greet. Say jerk as a way to greet their friends. Well, yeah, there are some people that don't for some reason. Says, I totally agree that Picard will probably suck, but my interest kind of went up, so now I'm went up 10%, so now I'm 14% interested. Fair enough. I would say I'm probably even more than that. I would go up as far as I'm probably about 25% interested in Picard, but I'm not, you know, part of that is the morbid curiosity to see how bad of a train wreck it really will be. Orville Nation just got here. So who is crazier? Oh, Ketwolski. Wesley says, have you watched any more Trigun? If not, no big deal. Not yet. Mainly because this week has been absolute hell. I'm not going to lie. That is just, yeah. Daniel says, this may not be a stream to talk about it, but I missed the last Church of Anti-Tricker. However, you might want to check what I gave you on Discord, Anti-Tricker. It is interesting. I will check it out, Daniel. I haven't been on Discord much this week either. for the same reasons. I've been trying to focus on just getting better as quickly as possible so that I can be functional as quickly as possible, and that has been very difficult. Let's see, and Dr. Daystrom is saying about Star Trek Online, ew, well, yeah. Thomas says, I think we have enough evidence to lock BirdOPrey up forever. Agreed. And Gary Nerdrotic is in the house, says, hail, how you doing, Gary? We were just talking about you, actually. So, welcome, my friend. And don't forget, Gary, if you're still here, please send me a message on Twitter to confirm if I'm going to be on your show this Friday, because if so, I'm very much looking forward to hanging out with you, my friend. But we were talking about, I don't know if you've seen it, Gary, but Ketwolski put out a video basically accusing you and others of the nerd community of just trying to get money out of the whole Justice for Nos thing. And so you may want to check out the video, to be honest with you, Gary, because I think it might merit a genuine response. Not an angry response, but a genuine response, kind of putting him in his place. Because I know you followed this lawsuit from day one, and you know, I would love to see your input on it. So it says, I think Anas has a reasonable lawsuit. The problem is one of money. CBS has deep pockets and expensive lawyers who can drag it out. Exactly, and that's why me and many others have been supporting the GoFundMe. Which, by the way, just so you guys know, the GoFundMe that I linked earlier was in fact set up by Gary Nerdrotic. He is the man behind most of this. Life with Matthew says, how goes the recovery? I'm hanging in there, Life with Matthew. I'm still in a lot of pain, but I can feel that it is getting slightly better, but I'm still kind of worried about some other stuff going on. Let's see. And I have to say, so, and I know that if you're still listening, Jace, I know that Thomas already timed you out for 300 seconds. Please don't leave those kind of comments. All right, we do not attack people's families, and we never ever suggest that someone should face physical harm. Okay, that's not cool, man. I understand and your sentiment about what Ketwolski has done, but that does not justify those types of comments. All right, so please just bring it down a notch. Nerdrotic says, greetings to Dr. Daystrom, Jason, Thomas, Kronos, Mr. Miles. Oh, sure, I see how it is. Let's see. The Lord did say they were good friends. Yeah, well, but you know, first of all, Lore is just because Lore's friends with Ketwolski, that doesn't make, you know, that there's no guilt by association. I haven't watched Lore's video. He may support Ketwolski on what he's saying about the lawsuit. If so, I'll disagree with Lore about that. But yeah. But if you're talking about what Jay said, we're not going to even get into that. Dude named Clem says, Kathleen Kennedy scares me. Kathleen Kennedy scares any sane human being. And so, let's see. Have you seen Ad Astra? I have not. It looks like an interesting film, but I have not. I'm hoping, me and Mrs. Antrick are actually going to try to go out and see The Joker tomorrow. That'll be my first outing, per se, for just to try and have fun since the surgery. It'll be interesting to see how well I do with it. Miss Londell says, the only way CBS will get the message is to stop putting money in their pockets, do not subscribe to All Access, do not review STD or Picard. That's the only thing they'll understand. Mr. Lundell, here's the thing, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am such a diehard Trek fan that I will be compelled to watch it no matter what. I am exactly what CBS wants me to be, because I will watch it no matter what. However, that being said, I will also advise other people quite loudly if it sucks as bad as I'm afraid it will. And that gives me the opportunity to satisfy my compulsion and at the same time hopefully help weaken CBS's pocketbook just a little bit. Stuart says, the new Spider-Man and Miss Marvel film is going to be a porn film as Spider-Man shoots his webs all over Miss Marvel. That's just wrong. Although I'm sure Nerdrotic would know more about that since he's the expert on comics. Speaking of which, Nerdrotic says, thank you. Hello, everyone. I will. Okay. Oh, I thought you were talking about will remind me about Friday. Yes. Wesley says, Enter, of all the cool nerds show up here, of all the cool nerds show up here once in a while. That's true. All the cool ones do show up here every once in a while. What? Says Nerdrotic. Noted. I may have to break my rule. Yeah, I know you don't like do response videos and stuff like that, but I think this one deserves it. And I'll here right now, Nerdrotic. I will put the link to Ketwolski's video in the chat so you can check it out. And Orville Nation put $2 in. Thank you so much. Just says, looking better, Anti-Tracker. Thank you, Orville Nation. Not feeling that much better, but I appreciate it so much. And let's see. Anti-Tracker and on Nerdrotic on Friday, could this be my chance to warn the world of Herman Schmeckelbeck? It could be. It could be. So, yes, I will finally be able to hang out with Nerdrotic a little bit. We hung out for a little bit on the Justice for Anas telethon over on Midnight's Edge, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to talking about whatever Nerdrotic puts on the plate. I'm sure it'll be an interesting conversation, whether we agree or not. Valor says CBS forgot that the Trekkies are the type of people to pull things apart and talk about the episodes overall and notice things. Trek makes you think, after all. Well, classic Trek makes you think. Discovery or modern CBS Trek, they try to turn your brain off. They try to get you with the spectacle of it, and that's just not enough. Darren is in the house, says, how's it going, apes? What has Ketwolski done now? Oh, he's basically accusing Nerdrotic and others of basically just trying to encourage a lawsuit for money. And I have a big problem with that because I know Gary well enough to know that that is not in Gary's DNA to do that. And I don't appreciate that kind of, now, you know, there are some things, and Gary knows this. I'm not betraying any secrets. There are some times that I've disagreed with Gary on certain topics, and I'd be more than happy to fight with Gary on a number of things. But I would never attack Gary's personal integrity like that. I'm sorry. Darth wants to know, will your leg ping you on flights? I don't know. I know that the implant is titanium. I don't know if that sets off the airport metal detectors or if it's small enough to where it won't. And Darth Revan says, no spoilers, but you will enjoy it. LOL, just watch out for uprisings. All right, will do. Joker was such a good movie. Give my review a watch after you've seen it. I'd like to know if you agree. I will, Life with Matthew. Remind me after I've seen it, and I'll probably talk about it in a video, just like a brief thought of what I think of the movie. I'm looking forward to it, even though I'm also kind of dreading it for different reasons, but yes. There's Orville's Super Chat again. Thank you, my friend. Thomas says, have you seen the Doolittle trailer? I have not. I saw you mention that on Birdstream. I did not know there was a trailer out for it. I'll check it out with Mrs. Anti-Trekker. But honestly, am I all that, you know, does the world need another Dr. Doolittle movie? No. And let's see. The Renegade says, post-surgery cinema experience isn't always fun. Those theater seats are not comfortable. Well, that's why we go to a theater. It's a brand new theater in the city I live in, built by AMC, that actually has recliners, not just movie seats. They're full-on recliners that lean back and the seat comes up and everything. And then I'll bring a couple of pillows to prop up my leg and stuff, and hopefully keep the pain level reasonable. And Darren says, I'm CBS's worst bad dream. I'm their worst bit of indigestion. All right. Wesley says, thank you for suffering mental abuse from CBS for us. Oh, think nothing of it. I'm not suffering anything. I'm just letting you guys know what I see. Valor says, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't scare me. I grew up in a house with 4 sisters, my mom and an aunt. Once a month is hell. So she has nothing that scares me. All right. I'll tell you what, we'll lock you up in a room with Kathleen Kennedy for 1 month and we'll see. Corona says, well done, sir. You're up to 75. Am I really? Wow. I did not realize that. We've just been kind of chit-chatting. So, very cool. And I actually show 70, but still very good. Let me see. Jason says, "Hey, Tricker and BirdOPrey, sorry I couldn't donate tonight. The deposit function isn't working at the moment. I'm always here to support any way I can, my friend." That's all right, Jason. And you know what? Around here, and I know I speak for BirdOPrey and even Nerdrotic and many others in the nerd community, you are not judged based on how often or how big you super chat. All right? Yes, every single one of us loves it when you do. However, don't think that, oh, well, you can't be my friend if you're not dropping money in the bank, because, lots of you guys do and lots of you guys don't. It's just a matter. I know that those of you that can tend to, those that either can't or just don't feel like they want to give money away, don't. And I'm fine with that. BirdOPrey says, Nerdrotic, Andy Trigger likes to talk about Christopher Columbus. Be sure to put that on the schedule for Friday. Oh, jeez. No. Actually, but I think the alternate reality thing is more interesting than Christopher Columbus specifically. Mr. Lundell says, I'm a bigger trekker than you'll ever be, but it's past time to draw a line in the sand. STD is garbage, and I see Picard swirling down the same smelly drain pipe. Well, Mr. Lundell, first of all, to suggest you're a bigger trekker than I will ever be, maybe. But I'm a bigger Trekkie than you'll ever be. But I agree with the rest of it as far as I do think we need to draw a line in the sand. I think we need to argue. I think we need to fight. I don't think we need to be disrespectful. And that's where I'm not saying, like, for example, and this is something that's come mostly from the other side, but there have been some remnants of this on our side of the argument too. Let's not attack the people. Let's attack the ideas. Wesley put $2 in, says, make Data laugh, make YouTube go, number 15. You got it, my friend. And then I'll get back to my tirade.
Sir, we are being hailed.
On screen. What is your problem?
I am lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, their rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
There we go. That's... although I almost wish I had a video of Ketwolski doing that the way I feel right now. Darren says, classic Trek makes you think, Star Trek Discovery makes you barf. Actually, I would rephrase that just slightly. I would say classic Trek made you think, Star Trek Discovery makes you drink. Says, please, 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 if you get the chance on Nerdrotics on Friday, please show them number 23. Instantaneous new subs will come. I guarantee it. I may have to do that. I may have to send a copy of number 23 to Gary just so that he can play it a couple of times when he gets super chats. Wesley says, when I call out to turds on Midnight's Edge when you are on, know that it is to all the other followers of you. Well, thank you, Wes. And I figured that, and I love the fact, I'll tell you, this is something I do really appreciate. When I'm on Midnight's Edge, I love the fact that a lot of you guys show up, number one, and their super chats go up when I'm there, because a lot of you guys will support them for having me on. So, and you know what? I love that. I absolutely love the love that I get from you guys is amazing. So thank you for that. Yeah, get used to trains, man. No way TSA will let you board a flight from now on. We'll find out. Watch Doomcock's review of Joker. I'm not watching any reviews on Joker until after I've seen the movie. I don't know any plot points. I am completely going in blind, which is the way I want it. I don't want to know. I don't know how the movie ends. I don't know the plot. And so I'm looking forward to watching that unfold. And then I'll give my own honest opinion of it. And I'll start watching reviews at that point. The world doesn't need any movie, Dr. Dolittle or otherwise. Well, fair enough. Thomas says, they probably have you go through a body scanner at the airport. Well, they already have body scanners at the airport, but I don't know. I'm sure they'll do, yeah, I'm sure it's something like that. Well, like you'll see the little thing pop up. Do you have one of those circulating cooler packs for the knee? Interesting question, Life with Matthew. No, but I will in approximately 24 hours. Yes, we ordered one. We're just waiting for it to be delivered. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Those Cinema Gold class, we call those Cinema Gold class here. There's only a few around here, but yeah, they're great. Yes. I do love the luxury theaters. Dar says, 2:30 a.m. I'm out. Well, man, I will drop you that sweet link. Screams. All right, my friend. Take care, Darth Revan. And there's Wesley's $2 again. Thank you, Wes. Mike Richard says, I have titanium wires implanted. I can use the MRI machine without danger, and they shouldn't set off metal detectors. Well, that's good. Yeah, the MRI thing always scares me because, you know, they always say, do you have any metal? Do you have any metal? Do you have any metal? And it's like, then you get in the machine and you start thinking, oh, my fillings. Oh, wait, do I have, you know, but, you know, fortunately, so far, at least in every MRI I've had, never been ripped apart by it. I think because you're healing from major surgery and hurting so bad, I will get you an Eagle Moss of the USS Pasteur. That ought to help medically, huh? Yeah, I think it would. Wesley says, where is Lore lately? I don't know. I haven't talked to him a whole lot lately. I know that he's been really busy dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I haven't had a chance to really watch his YouTube channel much, so I couldn't answer. You'd have to ask him. Valor says, that would be torture for her. I've been known to sleep with my eyes open, singing the song that never ends. Henry VIII can stare unblinking for an hour, unblinking, etc. Okay, well, I think that would be very interesting then to videotape the two of you together for a full month. I think that would be awesome. The Fed says, I don't know. While I do agree that Picard will be garbage, utter garbage at that, part of me relished seeing Picard and Riker interacting one last time in that trailer. I liked that scene. I will tell you, that's one thing that I gotta say gave me a little bit of hope. And Nerdrotic, thank you so much. Throws $20 into the chat. Says BirdOPrey5's choice. So BirdOPrey, you know the rules, so you can pick whatever you want. When I get to it in the chat, it's all yours. And thank you, Gary. Thank you, truly. I appreciate it. Now, put a couple more zeros on that. I'd really appreciate that. But anyway, as far as in the Picard trailer, that ending scene with Picard and Riker, I loved. I absolutely loved that moment. It felt genuine. It felt good. Now, that doesn't mean the show's going to be good, but that scene I did like. Maybe I'm just being too gushy and nostalgic and all that, but I really like that. Says, you're not valued more for paying super chats. Some of you are broke like me, but sometimes you have to say, number 23, spin, spin, and Anti-Trucker rewards you with a freebie. Well, that's true. I do every now and then do that. Not this time, because I'm not going to let you manipulate me. But we'll see what BirdOPrey picks. I miss the days when we fought over Kirk or Picard. It didn't get personal like the STD. Yeah, you know, you're right. I have no problem arguing over, like, you know, like, for example, about a year ago, we were fighting a lot over, Constitution class versus Star Destroyer. That was something that I was talking about a lot. And I'm going to get back into that, I think, because I like those types of discussions. And Mercer throws $2 in. Thank you so much. Says, hey, it's good to see you back. Nermal loves you. Thank you. And pass some love back to Nermal for me. Nermal is Mercer's incredibly cute cat. But back to what you were saying, Renegade, is you are 100% right. We could argue about, is Kirk the better captain or Picard, right? Do you want the diplomat or the cowboy? But what about Cisco? But what about Janeway? But what, and these conversations were fun. They were passion-filled discussions. We would argue and on all that, but we had respect for each other. It was all under the umbrella of we love Star Trek. The thing that's so wrong with Star Trek Discovery, it's so divisive. The way they produce the show is antithetical to that type of discussion. Because they are, at least it seems like it's purposefully undermining all the institutions that we loved in Trek before. They're trying to make Kirk less relevant in the Star Trek universe. They're trying to make Spock less relevant in the Star Trek universe. And they're trying to make it, for whatever reason, all about women, right? And so instead of Kirk and Spock, it was really Michael Burnham and Number One that are really the core of where everything works, Darren says, Jack Daniels should send me a case of whiskey to Secret Hideout with a note that says, thank you for all you've done for our business. They should, yes. You should make Mr. Miles' video a super chat or something. You talking about the recut of Q&A? That was a really good one. I was very tempted to do that, but I just, I love having it as a standalone. Imagine the TNG Enterprise era of Trek with the CGI of today's Trek and great writing. That would be a nice improvement. Although I'll tell you, I still think the Enterprise D could stand a redesign. Just being honest about it. I don't particularly care for the physical design of the D. Which I know that sounds wrong and horrible, but yeah. Stuart says, wait, new Star Trek show going to be iRobot movie, but it's a TV show Data. No! Yeah, that's what we're getting. Mr. Londell says, we need to invent some sort of greeting when Anti-Trekker is guesting on another channel. Something like a flushing sound would be cool. And Sobsborg donated $10. Thank you so much. And then it disappeared before I read it, but that's why I have my handy-dandy dashboard. It says, Ketwolski is simply proof of one successful example of the indoctrination of today's education, as he can't understand what our problem is. That's true. That's something that Ketwolski said several times in his videos about Discovery, is he doesn't understand why we object to it. He genuinely does not get why we don't like that they changed the history of tribbles, or why, you know, and he completely misses the point of Q&A, that really the whole point of that episode was to show how awesome number one is and how she's even smarter than Spock, right? So, yeah. But Mr. Lundell, as far as a greeting, well, you know what? A lot of people put into the chat, like on Midnight's Edge, say something like, hey, turds, or something like that. And then anybody who is a subscriber of mine can respond. And I love that when you guys do that kind of thing. So something like that is cool. Darren says, hey, did your daughter ever visit you? She did. She's here now. But she didn't come on the show because she got a little bit sick. And last night she was out very, very late at a music festival. Let's see. Jay says, I think there's some YouTubers scared of Midnight's Edge and Nerdrotic as a guest of their channel. Lore Reloaded is one of them. Most STD channels are scared to be on live stream with Midnight's Edge. Well, the problem is that people don't want to have a real conversation on the subject. And that's what bothers me. I don't mind if you want to argue, for whatever reason, that you think that Discovery is a good, solid show, and it's a good, solid entry into Star Trek, and that the canon problems are not really canon problems. I would absolutely love to have that conversation with someone. But you have to get someone who's willing to have that conversation, who's not going to fall back to, you just don't like women, or, you know, you don't like gays, or, you know, you're just, it's not what you wanted it to be, or whatever. You know, so yeah. And there is Nerdrotic Super Chat. Thank you again, my friend. Anti-Trekker reviews Kurt's Trek to prove that previous Treks were not an accident and that fans will survive. We built the fandom that way. I like that. And Thomas says, Anti-Trekker wants the Discovery Eagle Moss. He can't break it because it costs a lot of money. No, I do not want the Discovery Eagle Moss. That is the... I'm telling you, the one thing I'll give to Discovery, at least they dethroned the Enterprise D as the ugliest hero ship in Star Trek. Darren says, hey, don't knock MRIs. An MRI gave me special powers. I could become totally invisible when nobody is looking. Whoa, very cool. I didn't know that. So, very good. So, are you joining the Mystery Men? And Nerdrotic says, cheers, so I assume that means you're out of here, and you probably left 20 minutes ago because, well, six minutes ago. So have a great day, Nerdrotic, and then he says 0-0 for some reason. Josh Seat says, thanks for going into debt and losing your mind with CBS crap they call Trek. Thank you, Josh, I appreciate that. And yes, it sucks paying for CBS All Access, I'm not going to lie, but you guys know how I feel about it. I won't review it if I don't own a legit copy. You know. And BirdOPrey picks BirdChat 1. You got it, Bird. Let me bring that up for you, my friend.
Captain's log, stardate 44307.3. I'm preparing to leave my shuttlecraft for Pentaris 5, where I've been asked to mediate a dispute among the Salinite miners. A contentious group, unfortunately prone to violence. But first, I must deal with a situation of a far more personal nature.
What better way to get first-hand experience?
Captain, I'm picking up a general distress signal from BirdOPrey5.
On screen.
Feel the fire, feel my love inside you so bright. There's the sound and the smell of love on my mind. I'm your toy, come play with me. Say the word now. Wrap your legs around me. Ride me tonight.
My love is a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease.
I'm a man, I'm a goddess, I'm a man, I'm a virgin. I'm a man, I'm a blue movie. I'm a man, I'm a bitch, I'm a man. I'm a geyser, I'm a man, I'm a little girl. And we'll make love together. This sounds very pedo-ish.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who, in despite of view, are pleased to dote. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
What? Oh my God.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Why are you saying these things? Music to make love to an old ladybug.
You wonderfully jealous fool, you.
Wow, well that's basically rape. That is rape as a song. Congratulations. I gotta go turn myself in.
And of course, BirdOPrey is yet to turn himself in to the nearest Kurdistani authorities as he is supposed to. So hopefully he will very soon. There's Mercer Super Chat. Thank you again, Mercer. Josh says, Laura is streaming on Twitch. Okay, I didn't know he streamed on Twitch. So, okay. I wouldn't have minded a series where old Picard tells the stories of young Picard as captain of Stargazer to Riker on the pawn dock, just not by secret hideout. I could see something like that, a young Picard series, but honestly, I don't want another prequel. And I don't want, we don't need a Picard series. Just freaking make a series that's good Star Trek. You know what? Rather than try to reinvent the wheel, here's what you do, CBS. Let's see the Enterprise F. Just design a new ship from scratch, new crew, and let's start with the Enterprise F and branch into a new generation of Trek, just like we did with TNG. And see if we can get a third generation going that actually works. And Nerdrotic is saying kapla to Bird. Careful, Nerdrotic. By the way, Nerdrotic, if you're still here, before you leave, if you do a response to Ketwolski's video, one thing that I pointed out earlier in this live stream that I think is hilarious and I would definitely use is when you watch the video, you'll understand. Ketwolski makes a big deal out of the fact that Anas borrowed some music to make a video on his YouTube channel from Dexter, the CBS show. Well, it's Showtime, but Showtime's CBS property. And so he was basically saying what a hypocrite Anas is because Anas is accusing CBS of stealing from him when he stole from CBS first. Fine. However, at the end of his video, he plays the theme song to Star Trek The Next Generation in some kind of jazzed up version of it, and he does not give credit. And so he does the exact same thing he's accusing Anas of in the video in which he's accusing Anas. So just something worth mentioning if you decide to do it. In a nutshell, Enterprise D versus Star Destroyer. Oh, Enterprise D would completely waste an Imperial Star Destroyer in like moments. it would not even be much of a contest. I mean, I maintain, and I still maintain, that the original 1701 Constitution class Enterprise would defeat an Imperial Star Destroyer. There's something I'd like to talk about next Church of Anti-Checker that puzzles me. Well, Daniels, I'll be there this Sunday, so we'll talk about it if you remember to bring it up. And there is Sovsborg. Thank you, $10. Sorry for taking so long to get to it, saying Ketwolski is simply proof of one successful example of the indoctrination of today's education, as he can't understand what our problem is. I think that's very well said and very true. He genuinely can't understand it. And there, with the two Spork from STD and the film, who will play him better? The newer act. Wait. With the two Spork, I mean two Spocks from Star Trek Discovery and the film, who play him better, that is the newer actor who played him. If you're asking me who I think is a better Spock, Zachary Quinto or Ethan Peck, honestly, Ethan Peck, I think, is a better Spock. I just hate Q&A, and I also hate the season finale of season 2 of Discovery, because both of those undermine his character. But that's not Ethan's fault as much as the writers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Ethan, because he said some things that I have a big problem with as far as the evolution of Spock. But and so he's all for it, which I don't like. But I think that he plays the part better. Wesley says, "Stop putting down my home. The D was perfect in every way." Sorry, Wesley. The D sucked. Darren says, "I liked the D after it was destroyed for some reason. Once it was considered old, I liked it more." You know, I think the D looked better in Generations than it looked on the show. I think with proper movie lighting and stuff, it definitely looked better, but maybe part of it is the bad visuals on it. I never liked that, the design aesthetic of Next Gen, so that could be part of it. Nerdrotic says, "I never said a word about Lore. I never had a problem with Lore. Last time I talked to him, we were going to do a live stream on his channel, and then he backed out. I like Lore." Good. Well, yeah, Lore is a good guy. And I'm not, I'm only talking about the content to which Ketwolski is talking about, not Ketwolski personally. While I'm angry with Ketwolski over that content, I'm not going to start attacking him or anything like that. I'm going to attack his ideas, because I think he is being a complete idiot when it comes to those ideas. And so, I'll stick to the facts. Unlike Nerdrotic, I'll call Lore a poopy head. No, you can't call him a poopy head, because that's me. I mean, come on. I am literally a piece of poop. So you don't, no, don't call people poop. That's, comparing them to me. How can you not like the design of the Enterprise D? How can you not love a girl with a lot up top? Well, first of all, it's disproportionate on there. I mean, if you look at the Constitution compared to the Enterprise D, it would be like a woman who was, say, 5 foot tall, and her breasts were stuck out from her chest 5 feet. It's just so off that it would just become laughable, right? It would look silly. I think that the saucer section of the D is way too big. I wonder what Steve Shives thinks. No freaking idea. And they're trying to get me to spin that Spock, and I'm not falling for it yet. The Enterprise D was perfect for peacetime for the Federation. I miss my old home. Well, I will give you that the Enterprise D is a better peacetime ship as far as design overall. I mean, it's better for being a floating hotel, and that's all fine and dandy. But I just don't like the physical appearance of the ship. It just doesn't appeal to me. And that's completely subjective. If you like it, that's fine. I just don't. So do you like the Defiant design over the Discovery design? Yes, absolutely. Discovery is the worst ship in Trek as far as look. The Discovery looks like it was designed by a 5-year-old. And the Defiant, while it doesn't... my problem with the Defiant is that it doesn't feel like a Federation ship. And I know that's kind of intentional, but I think it should still, every Federation starship should have a saucer section and warp nacelles. And the Defiant has neither. Let's see. Jay says, "If I was going to donate, I would send a money order." Well, you certainly can do that if you choose to. And you can send it to the P.O. Box, which is the address listed below. However, if don't worry about it. All right, if you don't want to donate, I'm not trying to pressure people into it. Nerdotic is still here. I'm impressed. You must be having a slow night, my friend. And Darren says, and you get the Mystery Men reference. You amaze me. You amaze, you crush. Hey, sometimes I'm on my game. Sometimes. And let's see. The Renegade says, being able to argue about canon violations, we could go do that with Enterprise. Still do. And as soon as you do it with SED, they accuse you of being a bigot. Yeah, exactly. And I don't understand that. You know, and the thing is that when I listen to people from, like Ketwolski, who in his video basically says that, he says, oh yeah, when I first watched The Trouble with Edward, I could kind of see why people might think that they're trying to retcon the Tribbles. But then I saw this tweet, and he shows a tweet from some CBS executive that says, oh, they're not changing the history, they're just adding a layer to it. And thank you, Resolute. Put $2 in, wants to spin the spot, so you get your wish. I'll play it just a second when I finish this thought. So Ketwolski shows this tweet from some CBS exec saying that, oh, well, we didn't change the history of the Tribbles, we just added a layer to it. He's like, so see, it's all good. He just accepts that at face value like it makes sense. And the problem is that but if you look at the freaking episode, if you look at the dialogue in the episode and what happens in the episode, it does not make sense. Because the way that Ketwolski was trying to argue and defend the Tribble thing was that, oh, well, there's just two breeds of Tribble out there. There is these genetically enhanced Tribbles that Edward created that are just dangerous because they're constantly reproducing like mad. And then you have the original Tribbles, which are exactly what we saw in The Trouble with Tribble. Except that that's not what they said in the episode. The whole point of Edward's genetic muckery was the fact that Tribbles breed particularly slowly. And he was trying to improve their breeding rate so they could be a viable food source. Which, by the way, actually makes sense. Except that the Tribbles have always been fast reproducers. And that is explained, by the way, in that the Tribble homeworld is covered with these predator creatures called gloms that swallow Tribbles whole. And if you don't want more Tribbles, more troubles from Star Trek the Animated Series. So, yeah, don't give me some crap that it makes perfect sense. And let's see. BirdOPrey says, wait, which is the super chat where I look and sound good and make witty responses? Oh, that would be the one that doesn't exist. The Galaxy class, and specifically the Enterprise D, was the perfect peacetime ship when the Federation was fat, dumb, and happy. In a sense, you're kind of right. Trek Viewer says, in this super chat, do you know the name of the ensign at the con in the BirdChat? No, I do not. I'd have to look at the chat again. The BirdChat? So, no, I don't. I'm picturing it, but no, I'm not 100% sure. Jason says, the Mighty Dink. Bulbous in the front, thick in the middle, baby got back. Wait, that's not right. Damn, non-specified genders. It's still a great ship, damn it. Well, like I said, if you like it, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be mad at you for liking it, but I'll argue all day long on why I think the Connie is a better looking ship. You know what you want? You want Star Trek halibut. That's what you want. Sorry, Darren. I know that's what you want. Nerdrotic says, noted. Good. Mr. Miles says, what if it turns out he made the ending song himself? Fine. Then he should actually put that in the credits so that there's no question about it. Plus the fact that he's adapting a song from another artist because it's not his song, that he uses the theme song from Star Trek. So he would still need to put that he rearranged the song by, you see, and that's what he should be doing. Assuming that he wanted to go give full credit where credit is due, which is where that expression even comes from. But, yeah. Chrono says, Nerdrotic, you have a check mark? Yes, because he is a verified YouTuber, which I'm not even 100% sure what that means. But, yes, Nerdrotic is a verified YouTuber. Andrew, it doesn't have to be Enterprise iteration. Name the ship the Agamemnon, give her an interesting captain and crew, put her in the Gamma Quadrant. Well, I don't, but you see, I think doing the Enterprise is fine. That continues the Star Trek legacy, the tradition, and all that. Mercer put $2 more in, says, Joker was so good. Thoughts? Well, thoughts are I'm going to see it tomorrow, so I'll let you know sometime after tomorrow. And Nerdotic says, yes, YouTube approved. Yes, so, well, Nerdotic, hey, that's something that most of us in the real nerd community can't get. So hold on to that and be proud. So you think that Alden... so do you think that Alden's career was ruined by... I can never pronounce his last name. Was ruined by Solo. I love him in Hail Caesar. I don't know if his career was ruined by Solo. We'll see. But I don't think it did him any help either. Nichelle Nicholas in Space Command confirmed. I kind of doubt it. She's been talking about retiring, and she's on her farewell tour because she's suffering from dementia. So I kind of doubt that. I call Laura all kinds of things. Yes, as do I. You are not a poopy head. You are mud. That is Harry. Okay, fine. I forgot about that, Vile. Very good. I knew a girl like that, 5'2", and her chest was so heavy she could not run. Well, the thing is, so, yeah, it just kind of looks off. That's what I'm saying. What I mean is that the TNG through, let's see, Darth Maul says, what I mean was TNG through Enterprise shows. If you mean that the D is your favorite in those shows, or you mean something else, because I'm kind of lost, Darth Maul, what you're talking about specifically. Andrew, did you just insult my mom? 2 feet tall, 5 foot breasts? Well, no, I didn't insult her. I'm just saying that would be an odd look. And then Resolute's $2 super chat says, spin it, let's spin it. You can now be happy. Ah, yes, the absolute classic, and thank you, Resolute. I do appreciate it. Renegade says, I get what you're saying about the D, but it's supposed to look that way. Larger saucer to show it housed more than the Connie. Smaller nacelles to show their advancement. I know, but it just doesn't work for me. Thomas says, son of a bitch, I ordered you 5 USS Discovery ships. Just kidding, but I might do a ship quiz tomorrow. Well, you're welcome to, of course. And if you did order me 5 Discovery ships, I would probably burn at least 1 or 2 of them and find other ways to humiliate the others. The NX-01 refit and the C2 models that didn't get the attention that they should have. I agree. Those are 2 nice-looking ships. I would argue that Defiant is nothing but a saucer-ish section in nacelles. You're right about that in concept because the nacelles are kind of encased in the hull, but that shouldn't be because the whole point of keeping the warp nacelles separate is A, to generate a proper warp field, and B, safety. And so for some reason in the Defiant, they don't seem to care about either. And that is a little bit of a problem. But quite frankly, if it's really just a saucer and nacelles, it should look more like like the Steam Runner, or even a Miranda class ship as a more minimalist starship. Starfleet sending family to death in deep space. Some worlds love to see STD family burn. It's Ensign Tess Albany. She appeared in 3 episodes. The Lost, Suspicious, and Final Mission. Well, I did not know that, Trek Reviewer. You got me on that one. Darren says, my least favorite starships is the Oberth, Ambassador, and that awful Jaeger class. Jaeger class, I'll go with you on. I actually kind of like the Oberth and the Ambassador class. So, yeah. I don't consider TAS to be canon. Maybe not, but it was a reasonable and better explanation for the Tribbles than what we got in Star Trek Discovery. Bone says, as far as he could tell, they're burn pregnant. Agreeing with you. Yes. Thomas puts a link into antitrekker.com. Thank you, Thomas. Not sure why you did that, but... puts the list of the Super Chats in there. Thank you. Nightbreeze says, hey, how you doing, Nightbreeze? And there's Mercer's $2 saying Joker was good. Yeah, I don't know yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Ketwolski has lost his Trekkie status. Well, I'm sorry, but for me personally, watching Ketwolski goes, live long and prosper, that loses it for me. Sorry. This looks like somebody who's heard that Trekkies like this and wants to show off that they're Trekkies. That's what it looks like to me. And I'm sure Ketwolski is a genuine fan, but it doesn't feel that way when you're sitting there going, woohoo, I'm a Vulcan, biatch! You know, that doesn't work. Which somebody's going to grab that now, and oh, jeez. Fed says, I don't know, there's something to be said for that raw, lumbering aspect of the D, which they never really did right in TNG, showing just what a titan that thing could be. You're right, actually, about that, in that, like, in some of the battle shots from Deep Space Nine, they make the Galaxy-class ship look very big and imposing, something they failed at in Next Generation. Let's see. The trouble with Tribbles is that they really aren't that important in the Star Trek series. Tribbles can identify Klingons in disguise and fake Star Trek fans who only seen a handful of episodes. Very good. Nightbreeze, how you feeling tonight? Well, I'm going to be wrapping it up very soon because I've hit about my limit with my knee. But overall, feeling better than I was last night. So that's all I hope, is that every day I feel a little bit better. If you want to make an explorer, you should call it the Odysseus. That's not a bad one. We had a thunderstorm last week, and all I could think of was birds saying, there's lightning right here. Darren says, I always kind of looked at the Enterprise D as the anti-Excelsior, since the Excelsior had proportionally large engineering section as opposed to the D's large saucer. Yeah, you're kind of right. And that was what I didn't like about the Excelsior, honestly. And let's see, 76 watching and only half of that in likes. Smash the like button, says Commander. Well, I've said it before. I know that it's very difficult. I mean, and being a person who just went through surgery, I understand this. It can be extraordinarily difficult to hit that like button. I mean, that's a physical strain for people. So don't be mean. No changing the history, adding a layer to it. They said the same thing about X-Men First Class. Well, I guess that didn't make a mess out of the continuity in that franchise. Yeah, don't even get me started about X-Men. Do you have to burn those Discovery ships? Be sure to do it on film. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Darth Maul says, what I meant was, wouldn't we have killed to have had the CGI today with those shows and the quality storytelling instead of well-dressed-up hooker that is Discovery? Oh, I agree with that, Darth Maul. I get what you're saying. To be fair, Defiant warp nacelles, they had trouble powering up the Defiant, and even when they overcame that, it was still slower than other ships. Yeah, but I just don't like the design. That's just my personal opinion. Would like to get your input on a couple of things about what we talked about after the stream, if you're up to it. If not, no worries, I understand. Yeah, tonight I'm burnt. I can't do much after. Well, as soon as the stream ends, I'm going to go lie down and, yeah, probably drink something alcoholic to help deaden the pain a little bit. Also, the Cardassians have warp nacelles against the main hull. I'm not sure where they are in a Bird of Prey. Bird of Prey, it looks like the very back of the ship is like a singular warp nacelle. That's what it looks like to me. But that's the thing, and Darren actually points it out right here. Alien ships don't have to abide by the Roddenberry nacelle rule. That's true because they are alien ships. Starfleet finally realized they don't have to either. Defiant was supposed to defy the norm. I just didn't like it. Star Trek Discovery never went forward. They went back and became the Borg. Don't go there. For the love of God, somebody grab that, what Anti-Trekker just did. No. Hopefully drug fuel. That was hopefully a drug-fueled moment. That will be my explanation if anybody ever sees that. The last time you talked about Ketwolski, I got suggestions for days of his videos. I'm sorry, Thomas. Said biatch, honor has been satisfied. If Ketwolski is a fan, then Discovery is a better show. Well, yeah, if Ketwolski is a fan of Discovery, I think that much is clear. It is confirmed next Star Trek series to take place on a Miranda-class ship named after the USS Explosive. That would be nice. Oh, man, just about done. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. But Wesley, we got 3 more chats with my name in it, so I'm going to wrap it up with those 3. Wesley says, what Star Trek ships do you like, Connie, and nothing else? No, I actually like pretty much all the designs that we've seen. Like, I love the Connie. I like the Oberth. I really like the Miranda. I like the Excelsior. The Enterprise D, the Galaxy class is just not my favorite. It's okay, but it just doesn't work for me. Same with the Nebula. I think the Nebula has the same bulbous problem that the Galaxy class does. However, I do like the Stargazer, or not, the Stargazer, which is the Constellation class, I believe. And then I also like the Steamrunner class. I like the, oh gosh, what's the other one that was first seen in First Contact? Saber, I think. And so there's a few of them that I really like. As far as Federation ships, most of them I like. It's really easy to figure out the ones I don't like. I don't care for the Enterprise J. I think it's crap. I don't like the Discovery. I think it's crap. I don't like Defiant because it doesn't like Federation. And the Enterprise D just seems out of proportion for me. So that's kind of the breakdown of it. Darren said, I think you should point out that Defiant wasn't the icon of the show the station was. Hence, the designers didn't design it like it was a hero ship. I'll grant you that. And Commander says, hey, Trigger, that should be your Halloween video, burning the Discovery in a pit dressed as a Klingon offering to Kalis. That would be hilarious. I know you like the Nova class. Thank you, Mr. Miles. Yes, the Nova class is another one that I do like. Darth Maul says, I follow Ketwolski to see why people like STD in the shorts. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I watched this video. I was curious to see how could you possibly defend Spock singing, and he tried. Jazz hands for Trekkers, the wannabe nerd face. Another 0.5% royalty fee, please. All right, Jason. Stuart says, remember that Spider-Man is not going to... Oh, no, I'm not going to even think about that. I like the heavily armed Marriott feeling of the D's interiors. I don't, but that's okay. We can still be friends. And with that, guys, I am going to wrap it up because I have absolutely had it. My leg is killing me right now. So thank you all for being my friends. Thank you all for hanging out with me. And thank you for being the best damn group of people on YouTube. Do not forget, on tomorrow should be a morning stream if I'm up to it. Wednesday, we'll be doing the morning stream if I'm up to it, as well as Midnight's Edge After Dark. And then Friday, we'll be on Nerdrotic. So, hey, that could be a lot of fun. Or Nerdrotic's going to make me look like a complete imbecile. One of the two. All right, guys. So with that, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night or morning or whatever the hell it is. And, yeah, take care. Akira, that's what I was saying. I love the Akira class. Thank you, BioMike.